Okay, so in this we're going to cover using stuff like major sevenths and other upper extensions, and we're just going to run through a few tricks. I don't want to go overly overboard in this category because I want to keep things simple with chromatic mediants for this series. So we're just going to show you a few tricks you can do, and use these in any way you see fit. Don't, this is not exactly how you have to do these things. So I'm just showing you some tricks that'll make these things hold together a little better, like glue. So one of the first things you're going to notice is that the resolutions are often not going to be as common as they are in functional harmony. See, usually the seventh would move downwards like this. Sometimes that's not going to be the case when you do a chromatic mediant shift. There's no way to possibly do it. So one of the alternatives is to sustain that note instead. Just hold it over. Common tone shift, and try to hold as many common tones as possible between shifts. So if I use like a ninth or something, there's no way to resolve downward like you wouldn't. So resolving to the E major seventh, I would just move that ninth upward. The typical resolution within key to F major or F major seventh would be downwards, so you can't really do that with the ninth. If you do chromatic mediant shifts like C major seventh, E major seventh, G major seventh, and B, you might want to just hold that, sustain that common tone. I'm just using regular triads now. So that's actually a cool effect if you give that to one of the voices if you're orchestrating. So with seventh, so I'm just showing you that holding these common tones might be a very good idea when you're dealing with these kind of shifts. So let's take that concept and hold the B to E major seventh, to G major seventh holding the B, it's common. Now to B flat major seventh holding the A, D major seventh holding the A, F major seventh holding the A, and then A major seventh. Okay, so you could also do the resolution to A major seventh like that. So I mean, this is totally up to you how you voice it. I'm just trying to give you ideas on how you can do it. Maybe I'll do something like this. Exploit that common tone. Exploit the common tone. Exploit the common tone. So that's a trick you can use. Be like a compositional piece of glue. So and you notice the effect of these major sevenths have is a lot different than basic triads. So let's deal with ninths. Okay. So again, the only alternative really is to go upward with that ninth. Okay, so let's say you want to shift with an E major seventh 9, you could do that, but we're just going to alternate between ninths and sevenths so we can have a little kind of a sequence like E major seventh, G 9, B major seventh, D 9, F major seventh, A 9. Okay. You notice these chromatic mediant shifts sound totally different than just with basic triads. So playing it musically. Exploiting that common tone again. Breaking out of the chain now. You don't have to do the greatest thing in the world. Don't worry about that. Just get used to using these chords. This is just a good practice moving to the closest tone of the next chord, but you could do something like this. I'm just going to do it totally different, not hold out the common tones. It's still completely feasible. It's questionably more of voice independence and melody than it is actually holding the tones, so or using the extensions, sevenths and extensions. So we're going to deal with one more of these sharp 11 alternating between major sevenths and a chromatic medians. And you don't necessarily need the fifth. Okay, we could just you could voice it like that and go to E major seventh, G sharp 11, B major seventh, D sharp 11. I'm choosing the notes that are closest to it. F major seventh, A sharp 11, no fifth and no seventh. Okay, so you know, this is arguably whether it's a flat 5 or sharp 11. I mean, that's completely subjective. So the thing about sharp 11s, for instance, you could really exploit the Lydian scale, especially if there's no flat 7. If it's a major seventh, it's ripe for a Lydian. So you could do something like this, just in between the E or the C and the E, something like that. You could even repeat that over and over again. Lydian to Lydian. E major seventh, Lydian, C Lydian. So the second time I didn't use a sharp 11 on the C, but you could see the point. It fits Lydian really well. So let's use that little motif between the little sequence below. G sharp 11, B flat major seventh, D sharp 11, all these using Lydian, F minor seventh, Lydian, A, and then just kind of ending it. So, okay, we've used this particular sequence using a little bit of a motif behind it. Don't worry about doing the best thing, just trying to find voicings that you like. And sometimes I choose specific voicings because of the common tones and holding the common tones, simply because when I'm orchestrating something, I like that line to kind of be sustained or pulsed on a specific instrument group. It's kind of a cool effect more than anything. And well, that's one way to use chromatic mediant shifts with sevenths, major sevenths, and upper extensions from that. We'll deal with minor ninths and dominant chords in the next video, and these have a totally and just take notice of the effect these things have on the aural effect compared to basic triads. I'm going to stick mostly with basic triads throughout the series, but take notice of the aural effect. It's completely different than using the bass triads, so has a little bit of different flavor.